Alright, so we went over adding and subtracting fractions with common denominators. And now we're going to step that up a notch and do adding and subtracting mixed numbers with common denominators. So now we're going to have whole numbers and we're going to have fractions that we're going to have to add and subtract. Okay, so here we have 2 1/3 plus 1 2/3. So I have a whole number here, a whole number here, and then I have a fraction shaded here. Okay, so I have 1/3 fraction shaded there. Alright, here I have one whole square, and then I have a square broken up into thirds, and 2/3 of that square is shaded. So we're going to add those together. So if I had models in front of me, I could simply put those models together and count them that way. So let's start with that. So I'm going to, I've got 2 here, 2 whole numbers here, and I'm going to add the whole numbers together. 2 whole numbers here, and then I've got another whole number there. And then let's put the thirds together. I've got 1/3 from the first one, and 2/3 from the second one. Okay, so now I have one whole here, another whole one here, another whole one here, and then I have these 3 that were put together and also make a whole. So my answer then is 4. Okay, so 2/3 plus 2 1/3 plus 1 2/3 equals, we add the whole numbers together first, and then we'll add the fractions together, and then that will give us our answer. Alright, moving on. Okay, so let's practice adding mixed numbers. Don't forget to simplify. You need to practice simplifying. Alright, so let's start off with just adding the whole numbers. I've got a 3 and a 4 here. What is 3 plus 4? Good, 7. And then I have the same denominator here, so I'm just going to add the top numbers. What is 3 plus 1? Okay, 4. So 7 and 4, 8. Let's check our answer. Oh, duh, we're supposed to simplify this firmly. Okay, so if I take this and I divide it by 2, 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 4, and I can still go further by dividing by 2 again. 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. Okay, so 1/2. So 7 and 1/2 is your answer. Alright, so this whole number is 1, this whole number is 3. 3 plus 1 is 4, good. I have the same common denominator here. So I'm going to just add 2 plus 4. 2 plus 4 is 6. Okay, I have 4 and 6 ninths. Can I simplify that? Think about it for a second. Tell me, like you can tell me at home. But think about that and see what we can divide by. Okay, I can divide by 3. Right? 6 divided by 3 is 3. No, 2. Sorry. And 9 divided by 3 is 3. So 2/3. So I should have 4 and 2/3. Yay! Alright, again, let's go ahead and add the whole numbers together. I've got 2 and 2 plus 1 is 3. Okay, I have the same common denominator. So 5 is going to be my denominator over here as well. I'm going to add 2 and 4. 2 and 4 is 6. So now I have 3 and 6/5. Okay, so now I have a fraction that is bigger on top of the numerator than on the denominator. So that tells me that it's over 1 whole. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 5/5, which is 1 whole, away. Okay, so I'm going to minus that. Let's put a minus in there. Okay, so I'm going to minus. So 6 minus 5 is 1, and the 5th stays the same. And then I'm going to take this whole number and I'm going to add it to the 3. So I should have 4 and 1/5. There we go. You might need to go back and review this concept because it's very important that you understand that when you have a number that is bigger on the denominator or the numerator than it is on the denominator, that is more than one whole. So you need to take that whole away and add it to the whole number. Okay, so subtracting mixed numbers with the same denominator. Alright, so I have 2 and 2/5 minus 1 and 4/5. Seems easy enough, but I have one problem here. I've got a 2 over here and a 4 over here. And as you know from subtraction, you cannot minus a bigger number from a smaller number to get a positive number. Okay, so I'm going to have to do things a little bit differently there. Here is the model. I have one whole, second whole number there, and then I have a box broken into fifths. Because that's what I have here is fifths. Okay, let me erase that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this big number and I'm going to break it into smaller pieces. So I'm going to take this whole, and I'm going to take this whole, and I'm going to break it into pieces. So now I have the same number, except for I broke this whole down here into smaller pieces. So now I can take away 1 and 4/5. Okay, if I'm going to take this away, I'm going to take 1 away. So pretend everything down here is not there. I'm going to take 1 whole away, because that would eliminate this. And then I'm going to take 4/5 away. So I'm going to take 1, 2, 2, 3, 4/5. Okay, and it leaves me with how much? I have 1, 2, 3, 5. Okay, so 2 and 2/5 minus 1 and 4/5 should be 3/5. Okay, the way to do that without using models, because at home when you're doing your homework you may not have models to use. So let's try to work that out without having these boxes to help us. You can always draw your own if you would like. That would be helpful. But I know some of you will not do that, so I'm going to show you what to do with just the numbers part of it. Okay, so I have 2 and 2/5, and I need to make that smaller. So I'm going to take 2 minus 1, okay, which is going to give me 1. And that 1 is going to be 5/5, right? Because 5/5 equals 1. This is the same as 1. And then I'm going to add that to my 2/5, which is going to give me, what's 5 plus 2? 7/5. Okay, so now I'll write it in blue. Now my new problem is going to be, let's erase this down here. It's going to be 1, so 1, and 7/5 minus 1 and 4/5. Okay, I know 1 minus 1 is 0, so those just cross each other out. So now I'm left with just these two numbers. 7/5 minus 4/5 is 3/5. Okay. All right, so we got some practice problems here. I've got 5 1/3 minus 3 2/3. Oh, I already answered that one for you, so we're going to skip that one. All right, taking a look at this next one, I've got 5 4/3 minus 3 2/3. Okay, sorry, I got stuck there for a second. Okay, so basically what we're doing is you're going to take a look at this problem right here and figure out if number 1, number 2, or number 3 are good ways in order to solve this problem. So you see I've got the whole numbers, which is not the problem, but I have a 1 here and a 2 here, and I can't minus the 2 from the 1 because it's bigger. So I've got to be able to fix it so that I can subtract that. So number 1 says I should change this from 5 4/3 to 3 2/3. and that would equal 2/3. Okay. The thing that's wrong with that is you have this here. So what they should have done was they should have taken 3/3 from here, right? Or to get this to 4/3, you had to actually take away from the 5 to make it 4/3. Okay, so it should be 4 4/3. Okay. On number 2, same thing here. They took away from here, but they didn't add it to here. So it doesn't give you the number to be able to subtract. So this would be our correct answer. So this is no, and this is yes. So what they did is they took the 5, they took 1 away from the 5. Let's erase it and do it up here. Okay, so we take 1 away from the 5. So that is a thirds, right? Because this equals 1 whole. And that leaves us with 4. I'll write it in red. Wish there was more room to write on here. Leaves us with 4, okay? And then I take the 3/3 and I add it to the 1/3, which gives us 4/3. And now I can subtract 3 minus 2/3. Check your answers. Good job, guys. All right, so here's some practice. So we have 5 3/8 minus 2 1/8. Go ahead and pause the video and take a few seconds to try to solve those on your own, and then come back and you can check the answers. All right, welcome back. So you should have been able to just do this because I've got a bigger number here than here, so I can just solve it normally. So 5 minus 2 is 3, and 3 minus 1, I'm going to do it down here. 3 minus 1 is 2/8. I'm not going to put that over here yet because it needs to be simplified. So I can divide this by 2 and get 1/4. So my answer would be 3 1/4. All right, this one down here, I have run into that problem. I have a small number here and a big number here. So that means I'm going to have to borrow from the 8 to make the first number bigger. So I'm going to borrow from the 8, make that a 7, and 7/7, right? Because 7/7 would be my whole number. And I'm going to have to add that 7/7 to the 3. So I'm going to add this number to this number. So I'm going to have 10/7. Now I can subtract. So 7 minus 6 is 1. And then 10 minus 5 is 5/7. So 1 5/7. Okay, down here I have the same problem. I have a smaller number here than I have here. So I'm going to have to borrow. So I'm going to borrow from my 2. Then I'm going to add my 9 and 4 together. So 9 plus 4 is 13. So I have 13/9. All right. 1 minus 1 crosses each other out because that would be a 0. And then so I'm just going to take 13 minus 5, which gives me 8. So 8/9 should be my answer. Let's check. 3 1/4, 1 5/7, 8/9. Good job. All right, here's some more practice. Ben is in the band and must practice for at least 12 hours next week to prepare for a concert. This is his plan for the week. Has he planned enough hours? So I need to get up to how many hours? 12 hours. So that means I'm going to have to try to add these hours together to make sure that it's at least 12. At least 12. So let's just start by adding up the whole numbers. I have 1, 2, 1, 3, and 2. So I have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I have 9 hours in whole numbers. So I'm going to put that here. 9 hours in whole numbers. Okay. And then I'm going to add the fractions. I have all 4s here. So I can just add the numerators together. So I have 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, and 3. So I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 fourths. Okay, I can't leave it at 13/4, right? Let's write it here. How many times can 4 go into 13? So I'm going to make this into a mixed number. So I'm going to flip it around, make my house, and figure out what my whole number would be. So 4 will go into 13 how many times? Okay, 2. Nope, 3. 4 times 3 is 12. 13 minus 12 is 1. So I have 3 and 1/4. So now I can take 9 plus 3 and 1/4. 9 plus 3 is 12. So do I have at least 12 hours planned on here? Yes, I do. Okay. Now I have another part of the problem. Now Ben remembers that he can't practice on Mondays. What will his total practice time be now? So remember, I have this. No, you already saw it. Darn it. Okay, so this is what they did. So remember, I have my total here. So 12 and 1/4 minus 1 and 3/4 is going to equal 10 and 1/2 hours. And how I got that was I had to borrow. Okay, so I'm going to borrow here, and this will be 4/4. So 4 plus 1. So I have 11 and 5/4 minus 1 and 3/4, because that's how many hours we had here on Monday. Okay, so 11 minus 1 is 10. 5 minus 3 is 2/4. Okay, and I got to simplify my 2/4 because I can divide that by 2. So it equals 1/2. Okay, so 10 and 1/2 hours. All right, so in your notebook, you're going to answer these questions, and we will check them in class the next day. So this is 1 and 4/10. I know it's written kind of funky, but that's what happens when you're using a computer program and it won't have the line underneath it. So 1 and 4/10 plus 4 and 3/10 equals 5 and 7/10. Is that true or false? Right, same thing here. I got 1 and 3/4 plus 4 and 3/4 equals what? Make sure that you remember to do it in simplest form. Make sure that you can divide it down until you can't divide it anymore. Okay, we have 1 and 10/12 minus 1 and 9/12 equals 2 and 1/12. True or false? Okay, 12 and 9/12 minus 4 and 5/12 equals what? Okay, don't forget down here, enter your answer as a mixed number and write the fraction in simplest form. All right, 4 and 2/5 plus 2 and 3/10. Oh, this one you don't have to do because you don't know, unlike denominators, but let me give you a hint. If we did 10 here, to get these to the same fractions, 5 goes into 10 2 times. 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, so 2/5, an equivalent fraction to 2/5 would be 4/10. Okay, 7 and 8/12 minus 2 and 3/12 equals what? Mixed number. Don't forget mixed number. 3 and 4/12 plus 1 and 9/12 can be written as. Okay, and here's our homework. All right, we'll do a couple of these together. Number 2, 1 and 3/5 plus 3 and 1/5. I'm going to add the fractions first in case I have to carry over. So 3 plus 1 is 4/5, and then 3 plus 1 is 4. My answer should be 4 and 4/5. All right, 3 and 7/9 minus 3/9. 7 minus 3 is 4/9. 3 minus 0 is 3. Let's see here. Okay, we'll do number 5 together. 2 and 1/3 plus 1 and 2/3. I'm going to have to borrow because this number up here on top is smaller than the number on the bottom. So I'm going to borrow here, make this a 1. And this will be 3/3. So 3 plus 1 is 4/3. Okay, 4 minus 2 is 2/3. And 1 minus 1 is 0. So your answer is 2/3. Find the value of n. Let's see which one's the hardest one. Oh, 14 is kind of hard because you're going to have to borrow. So let's try to figure 14 out together. Oh, no, I guess not. This is kind of easy. Okay, 5 and 9/10 minus 5 and n over 10 equals 2/10. So I just got to figure out 9 minus what equals 2, which is 7. N is 7. All right, I think you guys can do the rest of those. Work on that. Have a good night. We'll see you in the morning.